Welcome to the Start to Be Great podcast. I'm your co-host, Kimmy.
And I'm Anna. And if you're anything like us and you're sick of using fear as an excuse to not truly live your life, then you're in the right spot. We're here to tell you that you don't have to be great to start something.
But you do have to start to be great. What the fuck? I was like, fuck. It's my turn.
That was good. I think we should keep rolling. It's fun.
Okay, fine. Today we're talking about mindset some more.
Of course.
Yes.
You know, we're not even sick of it. If you're sick of it, I'm sorry for you. But
yeah, we're going to keep talking about it because I don't want to stop. I don't want to shut up. I don't want to.
Well, the thing is, you know, if you're working on yourself and you're working on changing your thought processes, you have to practice it. And if you're just listening to it once or reading a book once, you're not actually going to make those changes you want to make. So you have to continuously surround yourself by things that are going to help you grow.
Yeah, be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Embrace the obsession.
Yeah.
No. So, we're talking about mindset, and we were talking about this before we started of just how cuckoo the brain is, how crazy I think the brain is. You know, so you think about it, it's a mass of fatty tissue in your skull that is the reason of your existence. Like for real, like it's crazy, like what the brain can do.
I know. Have you ever been to the Bodies exhibit?
No, what is it?
Oh, it's like a traveling exhibit. They go all over the country, world. I don't know, but it shows you the inside of your body, like separate from the pieces, like layered. So like you'll see like just your central nervous system. So you'll have your brain and all of the veins or all of your arteries like put together, but without the body. So it's just kind of cool to break it down. And when you think about it like a brain, you're like, we're just a sack of bone and fat and muscle and weird shit.
Yeah, it's so weird, but you think about the brain and you think about all it does for you. It doesn't only like just run your like reason for like your breathing and movement. Like it also is this place where you spend your entire life. It's crazy. Like, and your brain is completely unique to somebody else's. We were talking about this and I was like, yeah, you live different worlds inside your own mind. You know, I was getting like, you're like, girl, you sound like you're on drugs. And I'm like,
She's drinking the Kool-Aid.
I am, man. I'm obnoxious today, so just buckle up for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can both watch a video or see a painting or hear a song, and we'll both have, based on our previous experiences and the way that our brains function and take things and perceive different, sources of media, so to speak, we will feel differently about it.
Yeah.
And there's no way to know it. There's no way to control it. It's completely different and unique.
Yeah.
And nobody else will ever understand truly what you're thinking or feeling about it.
And I think that's beautiful. I think it's amazing that you can have completely different experiences. You can be watching the exact same thing happen and experience it in a completely different way than somebody else. But that also means that you have to be aware that you are having your own experience and let other people have their own experiences.
Yes.
Recognize that it's going to be different and have patience when it's not similar to your own.
Yeah,
I struggle with that sometimes.
That's a big thing that I've been focusing on is literally I have to tell myself sometimes like they are not me. They don't think and feel this way about this topic or about what I just said. Like they don't realize it because they're their own person. And I have to remind myself, it sounds silly, like saying it out of the situation, but when you're having a conversation or like maybe like a disagreement with someone and they're like saying something that you just totally can't understand or they can't understand you and you're like, what the hell, like does that compute? It's hard to put some perspective on it and to be in their shoes.
Yeah.
Because you can't really ever truly be in someone else's shoes.
It's also hard for me and for probably others to take a step back and realize that the way you're experiencing it isn't superior. Like it's hard to think that your way isn't the way you should be experiencing it. Well, you didn't do it like this, you should have thought about it like this. No, like they can think about it however the fuck they want to think about it, and that's completely right for them.
Yeah.
But you have to recognize that your way is not always necessarily better.
Right.
I'm adding myself right.
Well, and like on top of that, it's not just, you're talking about like which is better, but also like we tend to judge people by how they're reacting when they had a different life than we have up until now. So like I've been thinking about this a lot where when like we were talking about in the breakup episode, I know so many people right now that are just going through difficulties in their relationships. It seems to be the norm in people closest to me. And one thing I'm understanding is mostly people are having communication issues. And the thing is I keep reminding my friends and myself that like, hey, they learned this from whatever experience they had, and don't like be so hard on them. Maybe have some more compassion for what they're going through, because that's what they've done so far.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, putting less judgment, and that goes along with, you know, thinking that we're better. But you can also do it the other way and think that they have it easy, and then they don't understand what you're going through and how you're responding because they have an easy life, right? Like you could do it the other way around.
Yeah. That's what's so cool about the brain. It's like you're always growing, and as you work your brain more, like there's more you realize you don't know. Like it's never ending.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
On that, what do you think about people who refuse to want to grow?
Okay, so literally we just talked about not thinking your way is superior, right? And so it's like I want to be like, hey, you do you and I'll do me, but at the same time, like I literally cannot fathom not working on myself, not wanting to be the best version of myself. It's really hard for me. Like there's I've had people in my life tell me, you know, like I think it's awesome that you're doing what you're doing and you're constantly trying to better yourself, but like I don't want to do that right now. I'm very happy with my life. I'm happy with what I do every day, and I don't want to be better. I'm happy with this, and this is what I want to do. You're great working on yourself all the time, but I don't want to, and I shouldn't have to feel like I want to. And I'm like, dang, like I don't mean to push it on people, but like why would I not want the best for you when I want the best for myself? Like I'm just constantly wanting what's best. But it's hard to take a step back and realize people don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, some people think that it's the best to be content and happy with what they have and enjoy a simple life. Like a lot of people really enjoy that.
Yeah. My mom asks me all the time if I'm ever going to be satisfied. I said, fuck no. Why the fuck would I be satisfied? I'm very grateful and thankful for everything I have, but I always want more.
Yeah.
So
but there you go. Like it's not necessarily the best way. It's just the way that you view it. Yeah. So it's hard when the people that you're closest to are so different in that way. And it would be extremely hard if you had a relationship with someone who, like I know a lot of people that are in marriages and they find themselves in situations where one person is trying to grow and the other person's like, no, I'm good here. And it's like, hello, you know, 15 years ago when we got married, we were talking about growing together. Like, we're not done. And the other person's like, no, we are. And, like, I am. And you're like, what do you do? Right?
Exactly.
Like, it's hard. It's very hard. I don't have an answer. So if you were hoping for one, sorry. But just, you know, focus on you, I guess.
Yeah. But speaking of gratitude, we have Thanksgiving this week.
We do.
We have Thanksgiving. Do you like Thanksgiving as a holiday?
Nah.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't really care about it.
But I do like gratitude.
Yeah.
I do. We know this. I'm going to keep talking about it because, you know.
What'd they call you at Friendsgiving?
A queen of gratitude or something?
Gratitude queen?
Gratitude queen? I don't know. So
I like it.
I went to Friendsgiving yesterday, and we had an awesome activity where there was a bunch of us there. Like there was a bunch of us there, and we all stood up, introduced ourselves, and said what we were grateful for. And a lot of you are like, ooh, cringe, that's horrible. Like, I do not want to do that. And honestly, like, while we were doing it, like, you know, in your head, you're like playing, you're like, oh, fuck, I've got to practice, you know, like, what am I going to stand up and say?
Class all over
you know,
again.
and it's like, but it's like, no, it's so great to actually take a second, make yourself stand up and say, I am grateful for this. Say it out loud. Because it's easy to be like, oh, like in your brain, it's like, oh, I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my friends, my family, blank, 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 blank. But it's like when you are forced to say it out loud and you're forced to make a list of things that you have, it's like so overwhelming of like, oh crap, I do have it good.
Well, and I think that thought versus your words have different levels of power. And so thinking about what you're grateful for is great. But like saying it out loud or writing it down, I think has more power to like kind of speak it into existence, you know.
And then you have an audience. In this situation, I had an audience. So not only was I making myself say it, I was like showing others, I am grateful for this. It was just really powerful. I really, really liked it. And I loved hearing what other people were grateful for because everybody, friends, family, easy to say. But like then you start talking about like what are other people like super grateful for? Because like some people say their dog. Some people say I'm grateful that I lost my job this year because it forced me to do something else. It
Someone
forced
said
me
that?
out of my comfort zone. Yeah.
Nice.
Like there was like so it was like really really good. Like it's crazy to think like even bad situations can be good. It's easy to be grateful about things because there's no true beginning or ends of anything. It's all kind of jumbled together, and it's like
I like it.
I am grateful for so much.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we have Thanksgiving this week. What are you grateful for?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I would like you to go first.
I am very grateful for my support system that I have found. In the last year, I have been in coaching groups. I've networked with really cool people. I've got you, a boyfriend who's great. I have a kid who's great. Like, I've got a really good. I'm not a super social person. I like tight knit circles, and I like to really have close relationships, and not like I don't want to know 100 people. I want to know 10 people really, really well. And so I feel like I have a really good support system right now, and without it, like I would be definitely struggling. Grateful for my health, always, and I'm grateful to be in Texas. I'm grateful that I took a risk, and that has spiraled into many, many risk-taking decisions, and they've all led me somewhere great. So,
yeah, you have done a lot this year.
Yeah.
I am grateful for all the new experiences I've had recently. That's my biggest one. It's like there's been so much change for me in the last year, and so many new things, like trying new things, and the opportunity to try new things. And I'm thankful that I have been in the position to try new things. I've been working on myself a lot of introspection. I've grown so much inside and outside this year, and I really like that I have been able to do that. I've set myself up with the right situation to be able to do that, because when you're like, I'm thinking about difference between like survival mode versus growing mode, like I've built like a wonderful life here to where I have the luxury of introspecting. Like I'm not in survival mode. I'm able to take this time and have these new experiences because of everything else I have. So that means I'm grateful for my living situation. I'm grateful for my friends, my family, my, like you said, support system. There's just so much, but I'm very, very thankful that I am healthy enough to do all the things and just everything. But yeah, I love everything. And my 2 kitties.
Yes, they're cuties.
They are very cute.
Speaking of that, I think it's almost more important to recognize the things that you're grateful for when you're not in the best place.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started. So I was just talking about this last week, and I was like, the place in your brain where you process gratitude is the same place that it's like okay, starting over. You can't. There's 2 emotions you can't have together. You can't be grateful and angry at the same time. And so it's something with the processing system in your brain where you can't do it. And so it's like if you're mad about something, it's easy to switch out of that madness mindset by thinking about something you're grateful for. And that's just like the power of gratitude.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
I like it.
Yes. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that people get stuck in a mental like negative place, and they're like, oh well, I don't have anything great going on. It's like, okay, have fun in your pity party there, but you do. You're just choosing not to recognize it.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. So if that's you, pull your head out of your ass and just freaking make yourself see the good things you have, because everyone has good shit.
Yeah, I think that's important to recognize, like if you're coming from a place of negativity or positivity. Like if you're prone to negativity, don't give yourself the option to be negative. And that's all about like putting yourself in the right mindset to be positive. Like you ask the question, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, asking like a pointed but open-ended question. So it's like pointed in a positive way.
Yeah.
But it's also open-ended to like get you thinking and talking about it. I like that.
Because I could ask you what's been going on for you, and you have two ways to go. You can go positive or negative. You can go like there's probably a bunch of things that aren't going exactly how you want them, and you can go into a more negative mindset and be pulled into that kind of atmosphere. Or I can be like, what are you looking forward to? What do you got going for you?
Yeah.
That's a different thing. Then you think about things you're excited about. Be like, oh, I got this, I got this, I got this, and it doesn't give you the option because I don't want to give myself the option.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to choose negativity.
I like that. If you got a negative family member you're going to see this week, I dare you to use that instead of like, hey, how's everything been going? Just be like, hey, what's exciting that you got going on? Or like, what are you looking forward to these days?
Yeah.
Like ask a more positive question.
Yeah, don't give them the choice to be negative Nancy.
Yeah, we don't like negative Nancy's. Yeah. Speaking of positive though, one thing that we learned, when was it? Like a month ago?
Yeah.
I don't even know. No, it was literally last weekend, wasn't it? It was two
weekends ago.
So we heard from a speaker, and we just heard this thing, and I'm obsessed with it.
Me too.
We've been doing it annoyingly.
Obnoxious.
It's fun. Try it. So basically what you do is you wake up in the morning, or you can say it anytime throughout the day, and you just say, it's totally possible, blank, blank, blank. So before Kim and I started this podcast, she said, it's totally possible that this could be the best podcast we've recorded yet. And I was like, you're damn right it could be. Like, it is totally possible. We have both, like, the first week we heard it, where we do, like, 5 different things in the morning. You just wake up and you're like, it's totally possible. This is the best day of my life. It's totally possible.
I could learn something new today.
Yeah. It's totally possible, like, I make a new friend today.
It's totally possible I receive an awesome tip today.
Yeah. It's totally possible that I have fun with my kid today and not argue. Like.
It's awesome. And what's crazy about that is because what I think is so amazing about this statement is it puts you in a receiving mindset. Yeah. It puts you in a way like it takes, so you can do this with tiny things, you can do these with big things. So it's totally possible. I am going to see my friend at the gym today. That's really small. But it's totally possible I could meet the love of my life today. Yeah. Like, it could be huge. And that's the thing, is it puts you in a receiving mindset, big or small. It makes big things more digestible and feel more obtainable, which allows your body and your mind to be ready to receive them.
I like it.
I'm obsessed with it.
I've been using it when I've been like anxious or worried about something. Like, I don't a little squirt. I don't know like how to talk myself down off of the like anxiety when I'm like worried and I'm an overthinker. Yeah. And so I've been like, you know what, it's totally possible that the thing that I'm going to do right now that I'm anxious about is gonna go better than I think.
Yes.
It can be simple like that. You don't have to put high expectations on it. It's not about like making it unrealistic. It's about saying like it is actually totally possible if you just break through your own bullshit, negativity, or worry.
Yeah.
It could go well.
And I find myself doing it to other people. Like I don't know, like if like you're in a bad mood or something, I'm gonna be like, it's totally possible that these feelings are temporary.
Yeah.
And I'm just like it makes me feel better. I don't know if it makes you feel better, but it makes me feel like I can help in some way just by helping you realize like it's all mindset. All of it.
I mean, I'm not annoyed by it because we're on the same train, but I could see how people would be like, okay, shut up. But I put it on my story the other day and I was like, I want people to know about it because it's so good. Yeah. Like it's such a simple thing.
It's just a little tool that you can like keep like, and if you choose to practice it in your life, just try it. Even if you think it's stupid. That's the thing is when I heard her say it, I was like, okay, I call bullshit. Like, I was like, that's foo-foo. Okay, I'm not doing it. But then I did it once, and then I did it 5 times, and then I did it, and I find myself doing it all day. Just, even if it sounds silly to you, embrace it for a second. Just embrace it and see if it helps. If it doesn't help you, okay, don't fucking do it. But if it does, you're going to be so thankful that you tried.
The thing is when she said it, she was elated.
Yes.
She, like, just saying it, she was like, yeah. And you could tell that, like, she has been saying it a lot, and that she was feeling it. And now you and I will just go back and forth. We'll just like one up each other. We can literally have a conversation for an hour. We could do an entire podcast on it.
Yes.
We won't bore you with that, but
just try. Give it a try.
You know, the book that we are reading in the book club, High Five Rule. High Five Habit. That's
by
what it
Mel
is.
Gibbons.
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins. Oh my God. Okay.
I didn't know the title. You didn't know the.
I didn't know the author,
Okay,
so
fine.
it's yeah.
The High Five Habit by Mel Robbins. We started a book club, and this is our second book. And this book is amazing. But she literally calls people out in the book, which I love, because she's like, if you think this is stupid and won't try it, then like that's your problem. Like, she's like, I'm not saying it has to work for you, but the fact that you're so close-minded and won't even try it is where that's why your problem is the way it is.
Yeah.
That's why you're negative. You're the only one that can change it. So, but I just love that she called people out.
I do too.
Yeah. So I think that no matter what you're focusing on, you're gonna find like, okay, my boyfriend's a lawyer. He's always looking for like evidence to support his argument. So whichever argument you believe to be true, you're looking actively for evidence. So if you're in a negative place, if you say like, I don't ever win anything, you're gonna look for evidence to prove that you are in fact correct. And if you say the opposite, I win everything, you're gonna look for, you know,
Places that you're winning.
places that you're winning, exactly. And the thing is people don't pay attention. They're not seeing it. I think I was living in Wisconsin, and my friend Nicole, there was a free raffle at a bar, and you could win a TV. I don't even know. And I was like, I'm not even gonna enter in. Like, I don't ever win anything. Didn't enter. My friend enters. She won it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally believed so hard that I wouldn't win because I had never won anything previously that I told myself I wouldn't. I didn't even try. And then I used that as evidence, which is total bullshit.
See, I never win.
See? But I didn't even try. I did the opposite of trying.
So you confirmed before you even started that you weren't going to win by not even putting your hat in the ring.
Right. How stupid is that?
So stupid.
I know.
What are you doing?
I don't know. That was like 10 years ago. I have learned. But, so finding evidence, we've had a couple situations recently where we've like started paying attention.
Oh my God.
You know,
it's crazy to me. Like, for me, we do all these tools all the time to put ourselves in the right mindset to be making good decisions. Or, like, we put our goals out there. Like, this is, you state what your goal is, and you state why you want it, and then you put it out into the world, and what? Exactly. I don't ever recognize the evidence of what I'm putting out there, even though, like, it's there constantly. Like you said, my craziest one for you was you started saying, I win everything. That was your mantra. And the week you started it, you won your fucking rodeo.
Dude, I had never been to a rodeo in my life as a spectator. And the first one I went to and was in, I won.
Yes.
A week after I started, I wrote on my bathroom mirror, and then I started saying it out loud to myself, I win everything.
I win everything.
When I used to say I don't ever win anything.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Which is why I also don't gamble, because I don't ever win anything. Watch me go buy a lottery ticket and win the fucking...
I don't gamble because... So I went gambling for, like, in a casino for the first time on my 21st birthday. My mom took me to Hard Rock Cafe, and she gave me $60 cash, and she said, this is what, you know, this is your birthday present this year, spend it gambling. And I was like, heck yeah. I walk in, 15 minutes later, lost it all.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
Easy. I said, fuck this shit. I want to, like, buy things with my money. And so then I went to the bar and bought things with my money.
Yeah.
But that's the things, like, with gambling, like, I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't call to me either, and I'm good with that, because it's addicting, so I hear.
Yeah. If you're good at it.
Well, actually, some people that aren't good at it get addicted, because they want the high of, like, the chase. But... yeah, you know, I had said also, like, hey, I'm interested in learning more about this, and then, like, 2 days later, a person shows up in my life that, like, literally teaches it, and I was not expecting that person to be there, and I was like, huh. So, like, you know, I think the universe, the more you think about something and focus on it, and speak it into existence, and then pay attention, I think the universe is, like, giving you, like, hints and clues on, like, where to go. Yeah. And if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss it.
You're constantly getting feedback, just recognizing it.
Yeah, and you know, the book that we're reading too, like, also talks about your brain and how I've talked about this before about how you know, before I joined the Marine Corps, I never noticed the Marine Corps sticker on the back of a car, and now that I'm aware of what it looks like, I focus on it. I am a Marine, like I know that logo. I have it tattooed on me, you know, like I cannot drive by a car and not see it.
Yeah.
Because I'm so focused on it.
Or you think about a car that you're trying to buy and then you start seeing that car everywhere. Like everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just what you are paying attention to, what your focus is on, is what you will see.
Yep.
So if you're like if you're going back to mindset, if you focus on all the positives, you're gonna have a pretty damn good day. You're gonna see all the positives in your life. If you're waking up and you're like in the dumps and you choose to let the negativity consume you, that's all you're going to see. And like we did this a lot. Like I'll come over, like I was having a bad day one day, and I was just like, man, this is happening, this happening, this happening, and like you are like, I'm pulling you out of this. You like you wouldn't let me, like I was letting it consume me.
Yeah.
I was letting myself fall into the habits of everything's wrong. I'm not doing well today. Today sucks. And you're like, we have like 10 hours left of the day. We're gonna like turn it around. And you just made me stop talking about what was negative and like start looking at what was good.
Yeah.
The power of thought.
It's true. The power of thought compels you.
Oh my goodness.
What?
It's fine. It is funny. But I think also when you're recognizing the evidence, you can also recognize that I'm all over the place right now.
You need to pay attention to the positive and negative, and staying in the negative is a choice.
Yeah.
I think is the key.
I think it is. I think, so we were talking about this, and it's easy. The question was asked, what good comes from suffering? What good comes from suffering? I'll ask you that.
Well, I think it's the same thing as like failure. Because you know, suffering and feel like they're all like everything that's hard is teaching you something if you allow it to. I mean, I've seen people go through. I don't personally feel that I've had some hard things happen to me, sure. But I don't personally feel that I've really suffered a lot. Like I haven't had any crazy trauma happen to me. You know, my house hasn't burned down in a fire. I haven't had close family killed or my dog die. You know, like stuff like that. Like I haven't gone through that crazy shit. And people really like get sucked into it and then they stay there.
Yeah.
And so I haven't personally really dealt with it.
I mean, I can kind of think of it like you think about the statement, embrace the suck, right? They say embrace the suck, look forward to the suffering and it'll be better. You know, embrace it. Know what's going to happen and just embrace it. So I'm coming from a bodybuilding mindset, right? We put ourselves in 16, 20, 8-week preps, like long preps. And we put ourselves through the suffering knowing that we're going to be suffering. And a lot of people get addicted to prep because they like the suffering. They like to, I don't know if something in your brain, like you like to feel like you're able, like feeling that pain for an experience. Yeah, masochistic for sure.
Oh,
like
it's like I never remember which one is which.
Yeah. So masochistic would be like a person that enjoys hurting themselves.
Right.
And it's like it's good to me that you can recognize the pain and recognize that you're strong enough to get through it. Like that's like a mindset, knowing that you're strong enough to get through it and practicing, you know, discipline and fortitude and grit, you know, like I think that's great. But if you're talking in like a more mindset, like emotional or personal well-being type thing when talking about suffering, I think that you need to differentiate between suffering and pain. Because pain, to me, I think is a body's response to something that's happening. I think it's more of a sensation. Like pain, once you're feeling pain, that's what's going to bring you to realize that something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like pain is like, it's a signal. Like you burn yourself, the pain is a signal of like, oh, you're holding a hot pan, let go. Right. Like it's a sensation to make a change. Yeah. So if you have pain, that makes you present and it makes you aware of what's going on. Once you're aware of what's going on, you can realize that either something needs to change in a certain way or not, and that leads you to make new insights about yourself or your situation.
Yeah.
And once you recognize that things need to change, you can either choose to act on it, or choose to ignore it, or choose to do whatever the fuck you want. But if you choose to ignore it instead of recognizing that something's wrong and that changes need to occur, that's when you start to suffer. So you have pain as a sensation to make you recognize that change is occurring or needs to occur, and then suffering is a choice.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they like the expression "pain is temporary."
Yeah.
It doesn't last forever. It's more so our mind building it up and creating it into this thing after it's gone. And people do that a lot longer than they should.
That's why, like, when you're going through a breakup or when you're going through something, like, time heals all wounds, and, like, that doesn't make it any better. Like, that doesn't make you feel any better. It's people trying to make you realize that pain is just happening right now. It will get better. You just have to get through it. And I get that, but that doesn't help.
Well, nobody wants to hear that from someone who's not dealing with it while you're dealing with it. It's like, shut the fuck up, leave me alone, let me suffer, because you're in it. But then it's like, okay, how long are you going to stay there?
Yeah.
Like, your life has to move forward. I mean, technically it doesn't have to. You can let it not.
Yeah.
But,
so taking, like, a breakup, per se. So, like, you're feeling pain because there's a break. You no longer have a person in your life that you had before. Okay, well, so that pain is making you present. That's making you realize that, okay, things are changing in your life. They're going to be different. Once you recognize why you're having pain, like if, somebody did you wrong, or if somebody, like, you're just sad because you don't understand what happened. Well, then that's what you need to figure out. That's your new insights. You need to either do some introspection to see if that's something you need to work on and, like, be happy being alone for a little bit, or if it's giving you an opportunity to meet other people, or you've been stagnant in your life because you've been focusing on somebody else rather than your own goals. Like, there's so many things you can learn from that break, and that's what that pain is there to make you feel, is to make you realize. And then you can make a decision to move on from there and recognize that it may be a good thing that you get to try something new with somebody else, or maybe just be happy by yourself.
Yeah. I really relate to this a lot with like my family and alcohol. Pain, like emotional pain, turns people to drugs and alcohol all the time, and they don't recognize that, like, there's a bigger problem, and they just let it consume them. The pain turns into an excuse to just give up and not try anything different and not try and solve your own problems. And I think it's something that everyone has dealt with. And the sad thing that we were talking about in the beginning is a lot of people don't care. They want to suffer, and that's just how they want to live their life. But I can tell you right now that if you choose that way, and if you don't start opening your eyes, the good people in your life will leave you, or they will resent you for trying to, like, bring them down or be a burden. Because I think that if you're choosing to not be happy, you're choosing to suffer, that impacts other people.
Yeah.
And you need to be aware of that. Like, people want to be around others that are trying to do better. And I'm not saying you have to be on the same path that Kimmy and I are on, like, we're crackheads right now on growth, but like, do you want people that are not happy around you? Like, nobody wants that.
Misery loves company, right?
Right.
Like, it's really, really hard to stay sad when you're around somebody that's exuding happiness. It's very hard to stay sad.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're the person that's happy and you just don't let them bother you, watch them change. Watch them come up. Pull them up with you. Don't let them drag you down, because that's the thing. We've discussed relationships, and we've discussed having friendship and how it's important to surround yourself with the right people. But I don't think we've talked too much about, like, once you have those people in your life, what you do with that. Like, your mindset around those relationships.
Well, I think that once you have things kind of set, you have to focus on yourself. I think step one is, like, weeding out the negatives and getting rid of any distractions or roadblocks from you reaching your goals. And that's negative people. That includes your family. That includes a bad job. That includes anything like that. But people spend a lot of time worried about what other people are doing. Like, I get worked up over, like, how people are reacting, and I'm like, yo, I need to chill. Like, how someone else reacts has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I have a really hard time with this. I have a really, really hard time with this. Is I'm really focused on other people.
Yeah.
Way before myself. Like I have trouble prioritizing myself. It's even when it's like detrimental to my own progress. The whole like put your oxygen mask on and then assist others never made sense to me, and I don't know why. Just like from the first time I heard it, I was like, why? Like, okay, well, why can't, if somebody needs help putting their oxygen mask on, why can I not put theirs on and then put mine on? Like, I didn't understand. Like, it's like, I'm healthy, I'm young, I can put mine on. What if me having my mask on means I can't help somebody over there? Like, it was like I never could understand why I had to put mine on first. But we had that story about the quicksand. The quicksand story helped me. This was a way better explanation than the oxygen mask.
Yeah.
And it was, if you are in quicksand, if you're drowning in quicksand, do you want somebody to jump into the quicksand with you and help you swim out of it, or do you want somebody on solid ground handing you a rope or handing you their hand, like a solid, steady person to pull you out? That one's easy for me. I'm like, oh no, I want somebody solid. I want somebody like in with themselves and pull me out. That's like a way better, situation for me getting out of my situation.
Yeah.
But I've been like cannonballing in this quicksand to help my friends, like I'm like, here, I'll help you out, and it's like, it's way easier in that situation to be like, that's fucking stupid. You need to be solid in yourself so that you can help others.
Yeah, I think I learned that one really well working in healthcare because, from day one orientation, they talk about burnout. It's really easy to do in the healthcare system. And so realizing that you need to take care of yourself, because if you are not doing well, you can take care of less people. So like, from someone like higher up, like a doctor, like if they are tired, if they are not well nourished and not thinking clearly, if they're stressed out with home life drama, their work life, because sure, some people can compartmentalize, but only for so long. You're going to get so tired that you cannot do your job to the best of your ability, and you're going to be not only not helping as many, but probably harming people, just not intentionally. But that's kind of what woke me up to it. Was like, it's, people see it as selfish, but I see it as, I want to help more people for as long as I can, and if I don't take care of me first and have a good foundation to pull people, help people from, I'm not gonna be able to help them.
Yeah.
So
that's solid.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people that struggle with that. They don't know. I am every day overwhelmed by people and like their lack of the ability to have boundaries and to take care of themselves first.
Yeah.
Moms are terrible at taking care of themselves first. Yes. They're notorious for it. And I totally understand that. And it's, a love that I respect, but also, I want to show like my kid, and I think everyone should want to show their kids like how to have the best life that they can have, and they can, it's the same concept. Like, moms, if you're tired, like, you can have more fun with your kids if you do something that like gives you energy, like if you exercise or if you're eating better or doing whatever something brings you joy, you're gonna be like more excited to spend time with your kids. So like, it's like, you feel guilty for doing something, but the long run, it's so much better.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think you need to have some awareness of your mindset in regards to other people. Like, you need to allow other people to have their own experiences and recognize that you are going to take things differently. And I think it's important that you recognize, like, if you're trying to force somebody to see something from your point of view, and how that can like affect the relationship.
Yeah, someone described it to me once. I think it was Ed Milet. He was speaking, and he said, I'm not trying to convince you to believe what I think. I'm just trying to let you know and convince you that I believe what I'm saying. Like, that is my purpose, is I'm telling you that this is what I believe. I don't care if you believe it, but I'm going to like share it. I'm not trying to sell you on it, but just explain it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I like that.
I think that's really cool.
Because it's like, you're not going to change people's minds. Quit trying to change people. It's half to us, half to you.
Oh man, I think what's crazy is once you put yourself in this mindset, once you put yourself in this situation to better yourself, you kind of lose interest in anything that's not helping you achieve your goal. I've at least that's what I found to be my current situation is I have extreme apathy towards anything or anybody that's not helping me get better.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. But I think that once you are in this mindset, once you are in the positive mindset, you have to stay there for things to obtain. It's like, you know, ordering a package and expecting it to come to your door, but you moved houses. You know, like if you don't order it and continue to stay in that headspace, it's not going to be there anymore. I don't know if that's like a good way to explain it. But.
No, I mean, I think things take time. You know, we live in a society where everyone wants to like get instant gratification. That includes going to counseling. That includes working on yourself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Like that includes like trying these little tools and tips and tricks that we're sharing with you now. Like you're not going to see immediate gratification from them necessarily. Like sure, the first time that we use the phrase "it's totally possible," blah blah blah. I felt immediately hyped up. But that one might not resonate with you, and that's fine. But like trying different things, testing things out, and finding out with an open mind, I think is important, and recognizing that it takes time. Yeah. You have to wait for it. So yeah, if you just try it a whole bunch and then, you know. Did we talk about this already? You know what, guys? We're getting all of our... Here's the thing.
We're so amped. It's hard to stay on topic because we're so amped.
And Kimmy, we talk about so much on and off podcasts that, like, I forget what we've said on podcasts and versus what we haven't. And so I really love the visual of the two men digging for gold.
I don't think we've talked about this.
Okay, good. I was just looking at your face, like, waiting to see if you recognized it. So there's two men digging for gold. And they're digging for gold in like the same spot. And you can Google this picture. It's like a little cartoon. And one guy is like a centimeter away from it. And he quits. He's been digging not very long. But he's so close. He quits because he's like, ah. And then there's another guy. He went the longer way. And he gets to it because he stuck it out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it goes to show that like, you never know how close you are. You could be 1 second away, one decision away, one action away from the best thing in your life that's ever happened.
Yeah.
We have no idea how close it is.
But where's the line? You know, like if you're pounding something to death, like beating a dead horse, they say that. Like where's the line of recognizing that what you're doing isn't making you progress and trying something else versus continuing on the same path thinking that potentially it could work? Where is that line?
That's a good question. I think that if something is giving you passion, like if you're passionate about something and you truly want what it is, I think that's worth sticking it out for, even if you're failing, so to speak, or struggling with it. I think that when you try something out and you don't necessarily have like, it's not calling you, I think you really need to listen to that. I believe in your intuition and your gut. And if something, now quitting because something is hard is not the same, but quitting because something like doesn't really inspire you,
It doesn't serve you anymore.
I think that that's okay to let it go. You've tried it out, and you know, like if you think about things that you've lost interest in lately, like one of the things I lost interest lately is jiu-jitsu. I still like it. I still think it's a really cool sport, and I might still dabble in it from here, you know, from time to time. But it's not calling to me. And I tested it out, and it's not because I think I suck or I'm not progressing as far. It's just like I don't wake up and I'm like, I want to go. Like I want to train. Like I don't have like a goal with it, and it's just not. You know, I thought it was cool. I tried it. I moved on.
Yeah.
I think that's okay to let it go. And then I tried horse riding, and it's night and day that like I literally cannot stop thinking about horses. Like I cannot stop watching reels. I've been YouTube videoing horse shows. I'm going once a week. I'm willing to pay money out of my pocket, like the money that I'm saving from jujitsu, I'm willing to immediately spend on horse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, whereas one I was like, I don't know if I want to spend the money on it, versus hell yeah, I want to spend all of it plus more. You know, like it's night and day, and it's very clear which one you should be following. And so that's where I think the line is paying attention to your heart. Is your heart in it?
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I have a similar situation with bodybuilding. So I love bodybuilding, and it consumed me for almost 3 years. I was just active, constantly in and out of preps, constantly thinking about it, because it's a sport that's all consuming. It requires attention and effort every single day. And I think that's awesome, and I think the discipline that you learn in it is awesome. But coming out of my last show, I just wanted something different. I needed like a change, and so I found CrossFit. And like you said, I wake up every single day fucking excited to go.
Yeah.
And like I've been doing more Olympic lifting training, and that is the most fun I've ever had lifting in my life. And it's like all I want to talk about, all I want to think about. Whereas when I was bodybuilding, there were so many things that I wanted to do, but I either didn't have the time or I didn't have the energy. Because not only are you low calories and you're high caloric output, so you're very, very depleted, very tired, and you don't want to put yourself around temptation, so you kind of isolate yourself. Like there was things I would want to try, things I would want to do, but I would be like, okay, when I'm outside of prep, I'll do that. You know, like, oh, when I get more food, I can do that. You know, it was very limiting, on top of being such a time consuming thing. What you have, you have work, and then you have a workout, and then you have your food, and then you have to prep stuff, and then you have to take supplementation at the right time, and then you have extra cardio, and then you have posing practice. I mean, it was like fitting everything in one day was big time management, which was an awesome practice to learn. But it's like, where do you have anything else?
Yeah.
And it's like there were so many things I wanted to try that I couldn't. I kept waiting till I wasn't bodybuilding. And so now that I'm outside of the world for a little bit, I'm trying a bunch of new things, and I have the energy, and I'm able to do a bunch of things. And so it's not that bodybuilding was bad, but it was like no longer serving me.
Yeah.
And so when I was switching to CrossFit, I was trying to do both. I really was. I was trying to continue my bodybuilding workouts and my bodybuilding lifestyle while also doing CrossFit and also doing this stuff, because I wanted both. I didn't want to give up on one. But I was just so depleted in my CrossFit workouts. And I was talking to my coach, and he was like, honestly, Kimmy, you need to drop this bodybuilding bullshit if you want to be, better in CrossFit. You need to drop it. Like, it's not about failing. It's not about giving up on one. I didn't fail in bodybuilding.
Right.
It's just prioritizing, putting my efforts where they're important.
Yeah.
And I think that was really important for me to kind of differentiate. It's like I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to fail at bodybuilding.
Right. It just wasn't calling you anymore.
Yeah. And I recognized that I could be better if I just focused my energy a little bit more. So in that one, like that's probably where I would like lost interest, but didn't think of it in a bad way.
Yeah, I mean, even with jiu-jitsu, like I bought myself like cool rash guards, like I tried to make friends, and it didn't matter. I just kind of like, I don't want to go. I'm like, and I don't want to make myself do something that I'm dreading. It's just not fun. I wasn't in the right mind space, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But yeah, so I'm gonna jump back a little bit. I think I didn't want to fail at bodybuilding because I had put my that as being like kind of like a purpose for me. Like if I was competing, that was like a date I had in my mind that I could work towards. Yeah. And so when I didn't have that anymore, I felt like I didn't have a purpose. But I read something or something, I don't know. Something was confusing purpose with outcome. Okay. And that's where it had like a profound like impact on me, because it's like
aha moment.
Yes, because it was like I felt like I didn't have a purpose without bodybuilding anymore, because I didn't have what? I didn't have a show. I didn't have, it was like everything was leading up to one day, and if I didn't have that outcome, I no longer had a purpose. And I think instead you should think of purpose as function. You know, like what are you functioning as? What is your purpose? Like what are you doing? Rather than like all my purpose is in something that eventually I get to.
Yeah. Or
it's like it's enjoying the process of what you're doing. I think that's your purpose. And you were talking about a movie that you watched yesterday.
Oh yeah, I watched Encanto last night.
Yeah, I love that movie. I think it's really pretty.
Yeah, I don't even know how my boyfriend just got his tonsils taken out, and so we were having a lazy movie night, and I was like, oh, Encanto, and he's like, do it. So hopped up on Mike, and so it's perfect. And so we were watching it, and I was like, this is actually really cute. you know, I don't like all the Disney movies that have been coming out, but that one's good because if you haven't seen it, spoiler, it's about a family and all of them have magical gifts, and one girl doesn't get a gift, and the whole movie she's actually so positive through it. I love her attitude.
But she's all constantly fighting other people's negativity towards like, oh well, that's
She's
the one
not good
without
enough.
a purpose. That's the one
Right.
without it. Yeah.
Right, because they're aligning her power with her purpose for the providing as part of the family.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to make her feel less than, but in reality, she's the one that like saves the family.
Yeah.
And makes it better and brings everyone together. And so it was cute because it kind of relates to this because like purpose is not what you can do for others in a sense of like how you can solve their problems necessarily. It's like, what are you doing as a human to make the world better, I guess. Not just like providing something, like a gift of like.
I mean, your purpose could be just existing.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But.
Well, and dude, you have no idea who you're impacting. It's, you know, speaking of, we're gonna do a social media podcast soon, talking about social media, but you never know who's watching you, and so I really love people that are just true to themselves and just, you know, this podcast has given us the opportunity to speak our minds and share our thoughts with people, and you don't have to agree, that's fine, but like, there's people that listen to this that we don't even know that are listening, and who knows what impact we're having. And that, you know, and I'm not trying to say that like we're super cool and like we know all things, but it's just like same thing with anybody's social media. Like somebody that has 50 followers, like you could be, somebody else could be watching your shit every day and watching you grow, and they could be looking up to you, and that you'll never know.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be on social media. It could be real life as well. Like.
Well, I think it's crazy because, like, there's been some podcasts where we ended it and I'm like, I mean, it's okay.
Oh,
you know,
like
I didn't
50% of the podcasts that we do, we're both like,
I mean,
that's all right. Like, it wasn't my favorite. There's been some that we end it, we're like, yeah.
fuck yeah, that was awesome. But, like, what's crazy to me is like, some of the ones that I've felt just on, people have come up to me and they were like, thank you so much for posting that. Like I needed to hear that this week. And I was just like, holy shit, you know, like, maybe we're saying something that resonates with you, maybe we're not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, it's jumping back to the, everybody has their own experience. Everybody's going to take this podcast in different perspectives.
Well, and, you know, I've told people this before, but you ain't special. And what I mean by that is everyone has shit going on. And so to think that you're the only one dealing with something hard or any of the things that we're talking about ever, to think that you're the only one is silly. It's just silliness.
But I think it's also kind of comforting because you're
that's
not
what I'm
alone.
saying. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is I don't mean you're not special in like a negative way. I just mean it in like the reason why we do it is because we want people to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's awesome.
we communicate often because we are friends, but like not everyone has a friend like us to talk to about this kind of shit. I don't think anybody that I know has conversations like the conversations we talk about on the podcast. Because they don't with me.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, maybe not everyone has that person that's like willing to like talk weird, crazy brain shit with them.
Yeah. Well, I hope this podcast, if you're listening to this, I hope it helps you.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and end it with this question. What is the best advice that you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received would probably be to never take advice from anybody who has not acquired the life that I want. You know, like I love the people around me. I love talking with people around me. It's one of my favorite things is meeting new people and hearing their insights and having close relationships with others. But I don't know, like I have a lot of people try to give me input on my life. You know, I've changed course in my life a lot. You know, like I originally wanted to go to vet school and then I didn't want to go to vet school. And then I wanted to be a dietitian, so I went to get my graduate degree in nutrition. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Then I'm like, oh, let's just move to Texas. So then I moved to Texas. And then I start bodybuilding. People are like, what the fuck, why are you doing that? And it's like, you know what, I'm just doing it. You know, like I have so many people that have tried to put input in my life. And that's awesome, I'm always gonna listen to you, but like, it took me a long time to realize that I don't have to take your words with weight. You know, like, what the fuck are you doing that's better than me?
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you have a life that I want, okay, I'm probably gonna like, listen to you, I'm probably gonna be like, take your advice with more, wait. But like,
Yeah.
if you don't have a life that I want, why the fuck am I letting you tell me that what I'm doing isn't right? And that was hard for me to accept. So that's probably the best advice I've ever received.
I like it.
And it's all about changing your mindset. You know, like I can listen to you and
Sure.
respect you and respect what you have to say to me without letting it affect my mental.
Well, and just you don't have to agree with it or think it's a good idea. It's something you want to implement. Like you said, I've had people ever since I started my business try and give me business advice, and they're literally people that have never run a business. They've never done what I'm doing, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Thank you. Like, and not to say that that some people don't have good ideas, because it's like that if you can't do teach or whatever, like some people are really great and creative in that way, and I'm not opposed to that. But at the same time, I don't think that's most people.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received is, if you're not scared, you ain't doing it right.
Yeah.
That one's actually recent. That was this year. And I have thought about it so much, because I just like the best, I've heard it my whole life. Like, the best things are the hardest things to work for. And it's like, what people don't say is they're the scariest.
Yeah.
And it's like the biggest risks that you take and the scariest things that you do are often the most rewarding. And people talk about it being hard, but they don't talk about it being scary.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to hard work, but doing something that's scary and outside of my comfort zone, like you have to practice it. It takes time and skill.
Well, if you think about it, since we're talking about brains this episode and how crazy brains are, if you think about your bodily functions when you are scared and the bodily functions you have when you're excited. You have increased heart rate, you have sweat, you have adrenaline, you have all of that. So like what you're processing when you're scared is the same processing you have when you're excited. And so if you just change my favorite thing to do with this is, like, if I'm scared about something, I try to figure out why I'm scared about it, and I try to turn it into excitement. I really do. So like I went skydiving one day, and the night before I was just like tormenting myself. I was so scared. I was so scared. And it was like, okay, well, I'm scared because what? I'm gonna jump out of a plane. Okay, that's also really fucking exciting. It's something I've never done before. What am I scared of? Of the parachute not opening? Okay, I can just be excited that I'm gonna have to problem solve falling 10,000 feet in the air. You know, like, it's like it's so easy to switch your mindset just a little bit, just tweak it just a little bit, and try to make it exciting if you're scared, and then you're going to be more willing and more in like a more positive mindset to attack it. I think that's really cool. Brains are crazy.
Yeah, you're not lying. That one's harder to do. It's definitely a skill. You gotta like talk yourself down, because fear can also be like paralyzing. But I think that it's good to do things often that scare you.
Yeah.
Even like little things, like going up to a stranger and giving them a hug.
Yeah.
If that's out of your comfort zone, doing small things like that, or jumping off a cliff into water, maybe versus skydiving would be a little easier place to start. Or asking out the girl that you like, or like something small. Even if you don't like do it the best, it's still a win because you tried it. Yeah. And so I think that the more you do scary stuff, the easier it gets, because you realize that you can trust yourself to still come out on top.
I think the fear is mainly just either fear of rejection, fear of failure, or fear that you're not going to get what you think you're going to get. And it's like, okay, so like asking a girl out, if that scares you, like, okay, you asked her out and she said no. Check your body. Are you bleeding out? Like, are you okay?
But
like,
did you die?
Yes, it's literally, it's like, okay, well, move on. Like it's all mindset, and like you said, it's tools in a tool belt. And it's like you have to practice them, you have to use them. They're skills to get good at them. And I mean, I'm calling myself out for this. We talked about evidence earlier, and it's like I'm really, really good at putting my goals and my intentions out there, but I'm not that good about writing down how they came to be. And I think once you start recognizing them, that's like when it starts snowball effecting.
Yeah, 100%. I like it. You got anything else to add?
No, I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I am traveling for this Thanksgiving and I'm super fucking excited. I'm going to Atlanta to see my buddy Sam. Shout out Sam, he listens.
Hey.
And I hope you guys have a safe and joyous holiday and to remember what you're thankful for. And even if you're going through it, just think about things you're thankful for and maybe pull yourself out of it a little bit.
Yeah, it truly, if you allow it to help you, it can. Yeah. And that's the thing is you have to be willing to try.
It's totally possible that you're going to be extremely thankful.
And it's totally possible that you're going to try and use this phrase later and it's going to make you feel as good as it makes us.
And it's totally possible you're going to eat way too much turkey.
And it's totally possible that you're not going to gain 10 pounds just on a 4-day break and you'll be alright.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, we could keep going, but we won't annoy you like that.
No.
Alright, well, thank you guys for listening. Be safe and go do some hard shit this week in between your travel and Thanksgiving family plans.
We will drop this tomorrow. It's going to be Monday. Why? At 6 a.m. Because we're fucking sharks and sharks don't give a damn that it's early on a Monday.